Welcome to Mayweather-Pacquiao, the definitive guide. I'm your host, Michael Montero. And for this week, I want to do something a little different. I want to just talk about some thoughts and feelings related to Mayweather-Pacquiao from me as a boxing fan. And then I want to talk about why this fight is actually happening right now. Those of you who follow me, who subscribe to the channel, you know that I really didn't feel this fight would happen until next year. I was very adamant about that. But there are legitimate reasons why it finally happened, and it's happening now, and I want to get into that. But first, I want to talk about the positives from my point of view about this fight. As a boxing fan, I'm just happy it's finally happening. I'm excited about it, okay? And I'll admit it, when I watched HBO's preview show called At Last, it's about an hour long, I think it was one of the best sports shows HBO has done in years. It was phenomenal. It got me hyped. It got me excited about this fight. More excited than I've been this whole time since the fight was signed. Everybody's talking about this fight. That's awesome. That's great for my sport. I love it. I'm happy. But as much of a fan as I am, guys, I'm also a boxing journalist, correspondent, whatever word you want to use. And it is my job to be critical, to be skeptical, to be honest. And that includes being negative sometimes. I always felt this fight would happen. I thought it would happen next year, but I always worried that when it happened, they'd screw it up. And there's just a part of me that feels like they're screwing it up, guys. The undercard. There's only 2 undercard fights. Leo Santa Cruz is fighting a cab driver. Vasil Lomachenko is fighting a pizza boy. And it'd be one thing if this undercard was a preview for a future matchup, if Santa Cruz and Lomachenko were gonna fight, but we know they're not. Because Santa Cruz is with Heyman. Heyman's not going to put him up there against Lomachenko because he's with Bob Arum. It's a money grab. They're charging $10 to go to the weigh-in. And they're saying that it's for charity, okay? Let's say 10,000 people go to the weigh-in. That's maybe $1 million you're going to raise, total, right? You could raise that by giving a fraction of a percent of the revenue from the overall fight, which is going to be $300–400 million. You take 0.5% and give that to charity, and then let the fans go to the weigh-in for free. Yes, I'm being critical, but I'm not hating, guys. It's just there's that fan inside of me that hates seeing the mainstream die-hard boxing fan and the die-hard mainstream boxing media, the real people who carry the sport of boxing in between Mayweather and Pacquiao fights, kind of get the shaft here. I just can't help it. But enough with that. Let's address this video I made last December, okay? I put this up after Mayweather went on a little rant with Steve Farhood on Showtime. And my position in this video was, look, this is typical Floyd business protocol, okay? He talks Pacquiao, but he goes on to fight somebody else. That's what he's been doing for 4 or 5 years now. It's what he's gonna do again. At that time, it looked like it was gonna be Amir Khan. The network executives, all the marketing and research people ultimately determined that that fight wasn't profitable, that the fans had rejected it, so they started talking to Miguel Cotto. That fight didn't work out either. It wasn't profitable. And then finally, the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight was signed. And I was ultimately proven wrong in my video. Many other people in the media felt the same way I felt, but I made a video. When Floyd was offering $40 million, when he was saying stuff like, if this fight happens, it's gotta be on Showtime. It's gotta be a Mayweather Promotions fight. I'm not gonna work with Bob Arum. Blah, 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 blah. He's making all these demands, and now suddenly overnight, almost instantly, it's a 50-50 partnership between Heyman and Arum, between Mayweather Promotions and Pacquiao's promotional company, between Showtime and HBO, and Pacquiao's getting a 60-40 split. A 10% offer just a few months ago suddenly turned into a 40% split. Let's think about this logically for a second. Do we really think Floyd Mayweather suddenly just had a change of heart and said, you know what, I'm gonna give an extra $100 million to Arum and Pacquiao because I like those guys. Does that sound like the Floyd we know? The Floyd that's been dissing Bob Arum, hating on him for over a decade now? The guy who went on social media calling Pacquiao a yellow midget and a faggot and all these other ignorant, bullshit, prejudiced things? Does that sound logical? No. You know what sounds logical to me? That the folks at CBS and other people tied to the deal crunched the numbers, went to Mayweather and Heyman and said, look, we've lost money on 3 of our 4 bouts with you so far in this contract. We gave you options up front. We get options on the back end. Fight Pacquiao, or we could take this contract and shred it up. And that 5th and 6th fight, we don't need to do it. Make concessions to get the fight done. That sounds more logical to me. And I'm not saying Floyd's hand was forced, because that makes it sound like Floyd didn't have any options here. Floyd could have told everyone to go fuck themselves. He's filthy rich. He doesn't need any more money. Floyd wanted the Pacquiao fight, guys. I said that in my video. Watch it to the end. He was never ducking Pacquiao. He was never scared of Pacquiao. He just was waiting him out. I think in Floyd's perfect scenario, he would have finished his Showtime deal, been 49-0, been a free agent, had all the networks in a bidding war for a 1-fight deal with Pacquiao, maybe a rematch clause, beats Pacquiao, goes 50-0, retires for good, breaking Marciano's record. That's what I think him and Heyman wanted to do all along. What do you think? Let me know. Put your comments below. Haters, you too. I love you guys. I'm Michael Montero. This is Mayweather-Pacquiao, the definitive guide. Next week, final episode with my prediction.